Kelly. I am back with another process video. Today I am using my hip kit from February, and my inspiration was this beautiful coral piece of paper from Pink Paisley's C'est La Vie collection. I absolutely love the paper. It's one of my favorite colors. As you can tell, I am wearing a coral sweater in the picture. I'm wearing a coral sweater while I'm making it. And of course I pull out the coral color. So what I wanted to do was a little bit something different. I wanted to make my layout more or less central and then have some embellishments to the side. So it's gonna kind of look like a T when I'm done, like a lowercase t. Not quite, but that's kind of the gist of where I was thinking I was going. So the first thing that I wanted to do was add several layers underneath my photo, and I wanted them all to be pretty muted. So I pulled out this vellum that I've had in my stash for a while, and it has a print on it, but it's so subtle, and on top of the background you really can't tell that it's like a crosshatched print. So I decided to take the B side or the A side of this paper, I'm not sure which is which, and flip it over and use the muted gray floral, and it's I think like a wood green on the back of it as well. It is just striking, and it's one of these papers that I think I'm going to have to try to get another one of. To me, it's just one of those classic papers that I will definitely find myself reaching for and can use it, and it's one of those I think that is just so versatile that you can use it a couple of times and your layouts look completely different. So I'm still trying to build up some of my layers, and I decided that I wanted to go ahead and mat my photo on white cardstock. I find myself matting my photo on white cardstock the majority of the time just because I like the finished edge and the look that it gives. I start off without, but I think probably 95% of the time I will go ahead and mount it. And of course I'm using a doily behind it as well. That's no surprise to those viewers that have been around on my channel for a while. That tissue paper that I am tearing right now is on a big roll, and it is from Hazel and Ruby, and I think I've seen it at Joann's. I know that Michael's has some of their papers, and I just love it because it adds just another subtle texture to the background without overwhelming it. So I had gone through the ephemera pack and pulled out some of the possibilities of things that I might use, and I just stuck with neutrals and the coral color. And now that I have an idea of the size of my layout, I wanted to make some little hash marks, which you can't see on the paper because they're so light. And I decided to take my gelatos, and I just want the faintest color to be on the sides of the paper. And sorry, you will see my head with this. And my thought process on this was that I wanted the watercolor effect that was on the coral paper to kind of bleed off into the white. Now I've watched others watercolor right with their paper layers on. I just have not gotten that brave yet. I wanted to just kind of experiment first. I think maybe next time I would do it. It was just, for me, for this time, I knew what I wanted, and I didn't want to mess up that pretty coral paper. I think maybe if I weren't so attached to that paper, I would have done it, but that paper, I only had one sheet of that, and I could have easily gotten out another piece of cardstock. So that's exactly what I had in mind, and I decided to take out my gold gelato and just see if that would add any sparkle, and it did a little bit. It's very understated, very muted. If I didn't tell you that it was on there, you probably wouldn't even notice. But to me, that's okay. It just gives a little bit more depth to the color, and that's exactly what I was looking for. So while the background was drying, I went ahead and I stitched just a white border around that paper, and I also did it around the gray floral. And again, I do that just to add a little bit more texture, and then I can rumple up the edges and just love the way that it looks. So for this, I decided at the last minute to crumple up the tissue paper for just a little bit more texture, and you can see that it's easier to do when you haven't applied your adhesive. And I just had to straighten it out. It wasn't quite straight, and when I have a very central or very linear layout, it really bugs me if things aren't or don't look completely straight. So I'm just pulling out the pieces. I knew this is where I'm working on the T part, and I just had pulled out a couple of the things. I liked that hello for the gold, and I was going to try to see if I could get that ampersand to work, and the feeling fancy fit the photo because this is the three of us with my son's confirmation, so we were dressed for church. The generations part of the title is a Studio Calico. No, it's a 7 Puffy Alpha, and it is one of my favorites. I found them on sale, and I bought like 3 extra packets because I love them that much. The size of the font is beautiful, and the little swirly of some of the letters. It's one of those things that I feel like I can go to time and time again. The number 3 was also in the ephemera pack, and I hate numbers in packs like this. I guess for baby themes, I think I did a layout with using all the numbers, and that works great because, they grow so fast, and, each month they change. But when you don't have babies and, nothing else really other than birthdays, but they're so big, and I am just pleased that I was able to get one of them used on a layout. I'm not sure that I'll be able to get some of the others. We'll see. But, they're just so big. It's, one of those things that I could have done without. So I just got this little vellum tape runner, and I'm just checking it out to see. And I put it under the 3 where the G was going to be on top, just in case you could see it. And I was really pleased. You can't see that adhesive at all. So I'm going to go ahead and stick down my title because I am really liking the way that the layout's coming together. Those cork hearts I'm just going to place on either side of the photo. I would have liked to have had a third one, but I couldn't figure out where to place it without it looking heavy. And I pulled this cut apart sheet out again, and I'm cutting out that heart. And I'm going to just fussy cut that and stick it behind the heart on the left hand side. When I first saw those cork hearts, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to like them, but when you get them in person, that gold, it's almost like a thread that's made into it. It's beautiful. So I'm just sticking down my layers, and with that acetate, I just used my ATG gun because things are covering it up, and I'd rather save my adhesive, the vellum adhesive, for things that I know, you're going to see. And I just trimmed that frame down because I liked the other side of it, and it was a shame that it was hidden, and I'm going to try to get that used on another layout as well. So this is getting close to the end for me. I just do a couple of little things, adding some enamel dots to finish off my layout. And I just wanted to take a minute to thank all of my new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. I love having you guys here. I love feedback, so if there's ever anything that you want to see or just want to leave me a comment, I try to get back to every single one of you as soon as I can. I'm just, very appreciative. It looks like I have a ton of enamel dots, and I promise I don't have a ton. What I do is I I've had some that are just old, and I will move them onto another, or, condense them down into sheets just so that I don't have as many packages. I do have plenty of them though. But I just find that that made a nice little touch. And for once, I only did 2 enamel dots. I felt like the heart completed the trio and that it was too much if I put on a 3rd enamel dot. So that is definitely something different. I did pull out this Martha Stewart. It's a sheer ribbon. It is so pretty, and I got that at a scrapbook store when it was closing, and just thought that it made the perfect addition to that acetate tag. And that's pretty much it. I do mount it on a piece of paper, and you'll see me go through some of the color choices, but I wait on it and mount it on something else so you can see that photo in the close-ups. So again, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye.